Hey, it's me, Tammy B, and this is my review for Married to Medicine. Did you guys notice I was gone? I mean, it's only been a couple days, but oh my goodness, you guys, my phone died, and it was just the worst ever. Like, I always kind of joke and make it seem like I'm not part of this current generation with their whole instant everything and technology everything, but oh my goodness, them 2 days without my phone, like, I was like a sad puppy, like, it was too funny, but I'm back in the game. Well, I actually got a temporary phone, but it's actually pretty cool, so we'll see. So send some good phone vibes and blessings my way that everything works out for the good. But let's go ahead and get right into the episode of Married to Medicine, you guys. It is titled Bahama Mama. So we're winding down. You know, when they get to a big trip, it's almost the end. So here we are headed to the Bahamas. So the episode starts off with Toya, Jill, and Lisa just kind of meeting and catching up. They kind of just backtrack a little bit on the prohibition event that was last week, and they were just giving Jill her kudos, saying the event turned out well. And then they kind of was like, well, what was up with the whole thing with Mariah and Quad? Like, are they best friends now or what? That was so weird. So then they even did a flashback scene to when Mariah and Quad were fighting. Did I say Mariah and Quad earlier? Toya, Lisa, and Jill were talking about how weird it was for Mariah and Quad to show up together, because weren't they not friends just a few months ago? Then the camera flashed back to when they were fighting. So they didn't really press too hard. They just said, yeah, it was kind of funny, but hey, now that Quad is not friends with Lisa, it's like, oh, she running back to Mariah. And Lisa, you know, surprisingly, even though she's not mad at, or even though she's kind of in this legal battle with Quad, she was like, I'm going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they just are friends. Now, low-key, I kind of think she did that just so she won't look like the evil villain more. But, I kind of agree with Lisa. Like, yeah, you know, yeah, maybe Quad is just friends with Mariah because that's her only ally, or that's her old ally. But hey, at the end of the day, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We are like 30 and 40. Like, maybe they just made up. They touched on Jill and Heavenly a little bit, and it's so funny because Jill admitted, like, oh, I jumped the gun by telling Dr. Heavenly, oh, my husband told your husband F you. And then Toya was like, yeah, you gonna make me get involved. Like, no, Toya, nobody didn't make you get involved. I understand that Jill came to Toya and was like, oh, my husband told Dr. Heavenly husband F you. And then Toya is the one that went around and said, oh, Dr. Heavenly, Jill just told me that her husband said F you. Like, so no, Toya, nobody made you do that. You chose to pass the information. Maybe if you wouldn't have passed the information, the fight wouldn't have happened. And then just because Jill jumped the gun, Heavenly could have not even found out, you know. So I had to laugh when Toya was like, oh, and then you made me. Girl, nobody made you do nothing. You went and ran your mouth and started the fight over something that didn't even happen. So the next scene is Simone and Mariah. So they're just kind of recapping the prohibition event as well. And Mariah was like, dang, I felt like a rock star. I was walking in. Everybody was like, oh, hi, Mariah. She was like, girl, I feel like a rock star. And Simone just kind of laughed and chuckled with her, and she just kind of was letting her know welcome back, and just they kind of just was looking forward to the trip, and hopefully no stuff happens. They flash Quad and her husband a little bit, getting ready, and he's so goofy, you guys. It is so funny, but he seems genuine. He seems excited about the trip and excited to be like going in a hotel to have sex or something. Like, he was just be so giddy. Like, I could understand it be annoying because his voice, but it was cute to see a man excited about going on a couple's trip. Next scene was Dr. Jackie. So I guess right here they were just kind of showing each lady preparing for the trip. So then they showed Dr. Jackie talking to her main assistant about her father. As we know, her father has Alzheimer's, and as we know in real life, unfortunately, he has passed away. So right here, she was just kind of nervous about leaving him, but she knew that she could trust her like main assistant with him. So they were just kind of preparing for Dr. Jackie to leave, and the assistant just watching the father in the meantime. And then, so that's it. As far as a everything else is on the way to the Bahamas. So I thought it was interesting how they showed everybody pulling up in a black car. I guess that's to show all their richness. Like, oh, you couldn't get an Uber or a cab. Like, you have to have a private town car like drop you off at the airport. So I thought that was interesting how everybody arrived in a black car. Heavenly's husband, Dr. Damon, is gonna come later, and I think Simone mentioned that or announced it, and it seemed like even though Dr. Heavenly laughed, it seemed like she got mad. She was like, don't worry about my husband, he'll get here when he get here. Can't a black man have a job? Like, girl, calm down. Everybody know you have got a husband. Everybody there is almost doctors. We all know schedules. But she laughed, so maybe it was a joke, but you could tell like she felt some sort of way, the fact that she was the only one there right then and there without her husband. So they get there and everything looks fun. They have these dancers meeting them, and it's so funny. So Mariah and her husband are there, right? So her husband Aiden, so he you know, they get there and he jumps out and he started dancing with the little girls and stuff, and it was so funny. Mariah went and snatched him up and was like, don't be dancing all like that. Like, I know we on vacation, but so I thought that was so funny how she snatched him up. Like, yeah, don't get too comfortable with these little Bahama mamas. So that was cute. Jill and her husband, and it's so funny. Like, I don't know if you guys heard in real life, I guess Jill and her husband, Dr. John, got into some domestic dispute or something, and the police were called. So that's what's happening in real life, but on camera they seem fun. Like, when they got to the valet, they made some type of joke about the driver or valet, and they both laughed with the little worker, so that was cute. And then Jill's husband said, like, I'm the best dancer here. You know, that's kind of funny because it's like they the only white couple with all these black people or whatever. And I know Mariah's husband is from Bangladesh, but you know, I don't know, it was just funny how he was like, I can dance all of these, I move more, my body move more, and I don't know, it was just so funny. I thought whatever joke Dr. John made about him being the best dancer was just hilarious. Like, the white guy is the best dancer out of all the ethnic people. So that was kind of funny, and she laughed, and you know, so it just seemed like they kind of happy. I mean, maybe that's just a front for the camera, but you know, honestly, like, even when you are, there's no such thing as a perfect couple to me, but you know, the perfect couple, you can have some good times even when you fighting, you know. So just because, hey, they having fun on the trip don't mean you can't have a domestic dispute later. So hey, I can't say like, they should never fight since they seem like they're having a good time. I'm just saying, like, wow, like, dang, y'all all laugh at each other's jokes and support each other, but y'all got domestic violence issues too. So anyway, that was it. And then all the ladies kind of went off and talked, and all the men were talking. And Toya's husband, Dr. Eugene, kind of was saying, hey, it's funny because they were trying to give John, Jill's husband, like a little pep talk, like, hey, just to let you know, when the women get out of hand, we kind of let them do their thing and just stay out the way. And usually they fix it, or if not, we try to help them or whatever. And it's funny because Toya's husband was going to give an example, like, hey, yeah, my wife and Aiden's wife got into a fight, but we didn't get into it. Or if we would have let their fight get into us, we wouldn't be cool. And Dr. Aiden was like, oh no, like, we're not cool. And I was like, dang. So Eugene all this time thought they were cool. But, and Dr. Aiden, like, he was kind of just trying to explain a little bit, but I think that he saw that he was going to lose. So he was like, I'm over. Because Eugene was like, well, if we still got a problem, like, let's go to the side or whatever, right? But at that point, Aiden was like, forget it. We good. But yeah, apparently Aiden had a problem with it, and I'm pretty sure it's because Mariah still had a problem with it. But I don't know. At first, Dr. Aiden was not here for like saying that him and Eugene was cool, but I guess he didn't got over it. So then Lisa, Jill, Heavenly, Mariah, and Toya was all talking, and Mariah kind of called them out like, "Oh, why y'all didn't call me? Y'all couldn't have sent a collective bouquet." And everybody was like, you know, we all found out on Instagram, so we didn't kind of think it was cool to like reach out like, "Oh, I heard you had a miscarriage on Instagram," you know, especially when we wasn't friends. And she said somebody reached out. Oh, they asked her, "Oh, like, how did you and Quad become back cool?" And she was like, "Honestly, because Quad called me after the miscarriage thing." And Toya was like, "I called you too." She's like, "Well, you text me like a month later." And Toya was like, "But I still text." And in Toya's defense, I agree with that. Like, honestly, if somebody posted they're having a miscarriage, I'm not going to text them right then. I'm going to wait till it die down, or, I mean, I don't know. I get Mariah, like, hey, if I'm your friend, if you find out, like, my best friend one time, she posted something, I was like, oh my gosh, I called her, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, like, are you okay? And she wasn't, and so I was able to help. So that was an example of it being an emergency or something serious, and calling right then helps. But at the same time, it's certain people, like, if we're, like, kind of cool and not all the way cool, like, if I wouldn't call you at 2 o'clock in the morning if I had an emergency, I wouldn't expect you to think that I'm going to call you when you have an emergency. Kind of like that, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, it depends on the friendship. And I don't think any of them have the friendship where they were on the phone 2 o'clock in the morning, probably butt Quad, you know? So in Toya's defense, like, yeah, as soon as you post on Instagram you in the hospital, I'm not going to call you unless we're friends. So I get where Toya was coming from, but I do get where Mariah was coming from. Like, hey, despite all of that, I think they've been on, 2-3 seasons now? Hey, y'all could have eventually called me, came by, or something. And they didn't. So I get Mariah being sad, but I do think she should be over it by now. But, you know, pain has no time limit. So I think that was kind of it. I was trying to think of what happened in that little talk with just Lisa, Jill, Heavenly, Mariah, and Toya, because it was just them for right then for some reason. I guess because Quad was late getting dressed, and then Jackie and Heavenly was kind of trying to wait till everybody get there or whatever. But I think that was the main stuff that they talked about, just how did Mariah and Quad become friends again, and that was pretty much it. So then we get to the actual dinner. All the couples finally made it down, and Quad was talking about she was all asleep or whatever, and they was like, and it's so funny because at first Mariah's like, well, I'm not about to spend my whole trip waiting on somebody. And I'm like, everybody knows it's Quad that's late. So, dang, y'all just friends and you already throwing shade again, but you still want people to be all still sad for you. Like, I'm like, here you go, Mariah, starting already. But anyway, so the dinner opens up, and surprisingly, Simone opens up the dinner saying thank you for everybody for coming, and just kind of like welcome, right? Then Quad actually surprisingly apologizes. She didn't specifically say Lisa's name or Mariah's name, which I felt like she should have, but she kind of just said, I apologize to everyone at this table. And to me, because her and Mariah known each other long and their fight was bigger to me, it just seemed like she was talking to Mariah only, especially the fact that she didn't say Lisa's name, you know. But I kind of think she was apologizing to Lisa too, because she said everyone at this table, you know, and everybody was actually kind of shocked and was like, oh, okay. And then it just kind of goes left. Like, Quad said that, who brought up we're a family? Was it Quad's husband saying we're a family, or Toya's husband? Anyway, one of the husbands was like, oh, we a family. And that's when Mariah, we ain't no damn family. So I guess she finally starts feeling like sad again. Like, oh, we was a family. Y'all would have called me, or we wouldn't fight, or I wouldn't have got kicked off. So she started getting into a crying fit. We were like, come on now. The dinner started off good. A nice welcome. Quad apologizes, but it just went left so quick. So I know that happened. So Mariah ended up walking off with her husband. Like, I thought I knew it was too soon. Girl, I don't know. I just felt like it was just way too much. I know she probably needs some camera time, and she probably is hurt for real. You know, I get it. Even though she feel like nobody could vote me off, I think she was hurt by the fact that they did that, even though she do feel like nobody could vote her off. So I understand her tears, but to be like, we ain't no dating family, like, come on now. Like, why right now? Like, get over it. And then Toya, even after all of that, out of all things to bring up, then Toya gonna bring up Darren. And I think she just kind of asked Darren, like, did you cheat or not? Or she gonna say something, oh, we all married, we all friends, right? Can't we all speak on each other's relationship? Instantly out of my mouth, I was like, nope. And even one of the husbands said, nope, or yeah, but be careful what you say, or whatever. And I'm like, girl, if somebody was asking Eugene questions, you would not be feeling that. But anyway, Toya said in front of everybody, oh, I think Darren owes Lisa more respect. And honestly, instead of shutting it down, Darren responded. And to me, I just feel like he digging a hole. Like, I feel like he should have been like, no, we're not talking about me. But he gonna make some stupid comment, was like, oh, I didn't tell her I was going to the strip clubs at the time. Or she never asked, so I didn't say it. Or I thought she wouldn't know. Or I thought she would never. If I would have known she was going to the strip club, I would have told her. So it takes me to tell you I'm going to a place you've been to before to let me know. Like, Darren, that was stupid. Like, you sounded foolish and made yourself and your wife look worse. I was just like, oh my gosh. But he kind of said it in a joking way and everybody laughed, but deep down I know a lot of people was like, child, please. So Jill and Lisa end up getting into it because, like I said, Toya brought up the whole strip club in the first place, and Jill made a comment like, oh, it wouldn't have even came up, but your wife was selling her pyramid scheme in a strip club. And she was like, you call what I do a pyramid scheme? And so Lisa was all offended. And then surprisingly, Dr. Heaven jumped to Lisa's defense. Well, not surprisingly, because Dr. Heavenly don't like Jill either. And she was just like, Dr. Heavenly was just like, you're disrespecting somebody's profession. And Lisa was like, if I feel that that's what it is, or Jill was like, if I feel like her job is a pyramid scheme, that's how I feel. That's my feelings. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect somebody. It is what it is. And she was like, Lisa was like, pyramid schemes are illegal. What I do is not illegal. And not once did Darren jump in. Now, maybe he shouldn't have, because this was between women and he already, like, you know, it's already some shadiness behind him. But at the same time, you know, she was losing. So I could understand her maybe getting some help, but whatever. And that's pretty much how it ended, with Lisa and Jill just going at it. Like, it made the whole dinner stop. Simone got up and was like, the dinner is over. Let's just go. Because Jill and Lisa kept going back and forth. Lisa felt disrespected. Jill felt she was being real. And da-da-da-da-da. And then one comment that made everything kind of go more left is, Lisa was like, okay, you were passing out your cards for breast implants, liposuction, and I'm passing my cards out for how to make more money. She was like, I feel like there's no difference. You were promoting your business and I was promoting mine. And Jill's like, well, mine's is not a scheme. And Lisa's like, well, mine's is not a scheme either. And Jill was like, well, I feel like you're telling these girls, oh, you're not good enough. You're a stripper. You can be so much more. Get a better job, or don't degrade yourself. You don't have to be a stripper. Get a better job. So Jill was like, I wasn't demeaning the girls. But Lisa was like, no, you are demeaning the girls. These girls are not blonde hair, blue eye with big boobs and big booty. Well, actually, some of them were. So Lisa I feel like you're telling like a black, she didn't say nappy head, but a little skinny black nappy head girl, oh, here's my card. Here's how I can make you beautiful. You can look like me by getting breast implants and cosmetic surgery. So to be honest, Lisa had a good point. Like, you're inviting them to change their lives for the better. If you feel cosmetic surgery makes you better or is for the better, that's what you're promoting. I feel having a business and being part of this whole marketing thing that I do is making them better. You know, so Lisa had a good point. And you know, Jill is real sensitive about being called a blonde bimbo. So that triggered it when Lisa was like, blonde? You don't think a blonde telling a non-blonde like to come to my surgery is just as bad as me telling a stripper like, hey, come make money legally, not that stripping is illegal, or make money in a different way. So instantly, I don't even think Jill received what Lisa said. She was so stuck on the blonde. So what? I'm blonde. Yes, I'm blonde. Woo! You know, so I don't even think she was receiving what Lisa was saying. And just so y'all know, I'm not on Lisa's side. I do feel like she came off at the strippers wrong. Like, how much do you make? I don't ask people that. Whether, even if they had a non-stripper job, a McDonald's job, I'm not like, how much you make? Why you ain't go to college? You think you could be doing something better than that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I do agree with Jill. It does seem like Lisa was a little bit more condescending with promoting her pyramid scheme than Jill was by just saying, hey, here's a place to get surgery if you're ever interested. She wasn't saying like, oh girl, your titties is whack, you need a breast job, come here. Like, or hey, that's your hair? No, you need to get some blonde hair. Like, you know, so I do agree that Lisa was a little bit more condescending than Jill was, but I do agree with Lisa that, hey, we both promoting our business, and secondly, we're both promoting change, whether it's a physical change or it is a business change. So I get both sides on that, but hey, two of the girls who are quote unquote the boringest end up getting into the biggest fight, ruining the whole night, which I didn't like, because I really would have liked to see all of them, those men and women and couples, have a nice dinner and maybe even soak up from some wisdom from one another. Or this is supposed to be an elite show, and you know, when Married to Medicine first came on, it was a petition from some med students to cancel this. But I feel like with Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, they brought that balance that we feared about black women who are doctors acting crazy, you know, because they don't do that. But this part right here, and coincidentally is between wives that are not doctors, but this part right here is a perfect example of, you know, why people was petitioning like, dang, some nice African American or ethnic couples, you know, going on a trip, they could be having a good time and positivity. I would have just liked to see a little bit more of that, but I think we got 1 or 2 episodes left, so hopefully we see that then. Oh, I thought it was funny, like Jill. Okay, so like I said, Jill and Lisa are funny. Of all people, they get into an argument, and they're the least, I think, they're the least ferocious to me. I mean, I will say Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly are the least ferocious, but I feel like if they needed to, they would get ferocious, you know? So just the digs that Lisa and Jill were taking at each other, Jill was like, whatever, Little Miss Millionaire. And I was just like, Little Miss Millionaire? Like, is that your diss? Like, call me Little Miss Millionaire all the time. Like, I'll be that. She's like, I have 2 Ivy League degrees. This is Jill talking. I have 2 Ivy League degrees. So what? I'm blonde, Little Miss Millionaire. And I was like, man, if that's your diss, I'll take it. But and that's kind of acknowledging that Lisa got money, that Lisa's a millionaire, you know. So in her own right, with whether her job is a pyramid scheme or not, like, hey, it worked for her. She didn't go to jail and she a millionaire. So that diss was so funny to me, y'all. I was like, Little Miss Millionaire, and she was like pointing and jumping with it. It was so crazy. But so we'll see you guys. So next week they're still in the Bahamas. It looked like Jill and Heavenly get into it some more. I think that's we kind of known that was coming. I think we saw this little explode in the Bahamas between Heavenly and Jill, like even when the trailer came out. So we'll finally get to see what this is all about, but clearly it's, you know, the same stuff. So all right, you guys, so that was the review to Married to Medicine. So you know what's up, give me the thumbs up on this video. And hit me up on Twitter, you guys, Tammy B _. Hit me up on Facebook at It Is Me, Tammy B. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel. Share it with some of your friends who you know who may watch the show or just may be interested in reviews. And that's it, you guys. So I'll see you next time. It is so hot, you guys. Like, it is 100 degrees, and then it had the nerve to rain, like sprinkle. So I don't know if we about to have an earthquake or not, but 100-degree weather today, and it's sprinkled. In my area, it only sprinkled like 2 minutes, but I saw some people posting on Facebook, like in Riverside, like they actually had to put on the windshield wipers and you could like see it on the ground and stuff. I was like, what? So it is hot as heck, you guys. So pray for us over here in the Los Angeles area that we just, man, survive this little heat. I know it's some places down south, it's like 100 degrees, whatever. Or anywhere else in the world may be hotter, but we ain't had no 100-degree weather in a minute, so it's just catching everybody off guard. So pray for some coolness on this side of the town, y'all. But all right, you guys, so I'll see you next time. Bye.